My name is Stephen Breckenridge Oliver, and today I'm making this video. It's not about the continuum or anything, it's about a suspect. The suspect is suspected of sabotaging the FBI and tampering, potentially, I don't know. But sabotaging the FBI regarding a case in which involves copyrights, patents, and intellectual properties in which were stolen from me. Now, the FBI just simply refuses to perform their duty and have provided me with no reason why. And as I inquired with FOIPO, that's the Freedom of Information and Privacy Office, okay, that they say they have no records on me, and that's 100% certainty of a tamperer. Okay, so what leads me to suspect him? Okay, other than, alright, you take my childhood when he used to bang on my head with that ring of his, put knots on my head, laugh about it, malicious at heart, and then call it love. Alright, so that right there tells me, alright, you know, this person who would beat on a child and then call it love. Well, yeah, that says to me, because I never beat on a child. Have you? Alright, then there's, alright, well, when he was in the DMZ, alright, he lost his platoon. And when he lost his platoon, of the survivors, one came out displaying symptoms of torture. Now, what's that say? It says he probably cooperated to keep the rest of his men from being tortured themselves. Alright, now so that says, okay, potential programming. They programmed him, alright, to sabotage the government from within upon returning to the U.S. And it all adds up. The locations, see, John McCain was a NVC informant, and they codenamed him Nightingale. And he gave the NVC troop movements after he would talk to the new guys that came into the prison camp. So, alright, how'd they fall Saigon? You know, the timing says that he was there. You know, he had gotten new intel from somebody that led to the fall of Saigon. And the timing says that, you know, combined with the fact that one man displayed symptoms of torture. Alright, now there's no way a regular old trap did that to his legs. No way. Not physically possible. Okay, then you take a look at his career. Yeah, I looked into him because he became suspect. It was, you know, the FBI is doing something for a reason. They're not doing their job, and they got a reason. So, okay, is it tampering, or did they just quit and keep taking the check? Alright, so I looked back on things, and then I remember something that my Uncle Frankie had told me. It was his very first case. And he told me, plain and simple, you know, he did a marvelous thing in the court. He had an officer testify that he couldn't tell the difference between a seed and a pebble at 6 to 8 feet, even with 20/20 vision. Okay, well, what that tells me is the officer saw what he thought he saw, and there ain't no way you're going to get a legitimate court, to dismiss a charge because an officer saw what he thought he saw. And I believe, now this is speculation, but I believe that that's the reason the state hired him, when they saw how easily he could rig a court. Now, what leads me to believe he would rig a court? Alright, then in 1986, I got pulled over for DUI. And it was under the limit. They had no right to arrest me. I hadn't done anything wrong. Alright, so then I told my granddaddy, John James Breckenridge, I told him, I said, don't worry about it, I got this handled. I'm going to sue him. I'm going to sue him for at least $5 million. And he says, what for? I said, false arrest. I said, they had no reason to arrest me. He said, well, then why'd they arrest you? I said, I don't know. I blew in their thing. It said under the legal limit. Alright, so then he tells me, after a couple weeks, let Johnny handle it. I said, no, I will handle it. And then he comes back again, let Johnny handle it, Johnny handle it, let Johnny handle it. Kept on and on till I said, fine, Granddaddy. Alright. Then he arranges Holmes Whidden, who is now a judge in Saraland. He tells this court a bunch of malarkey that nobody understands. All right, and they found me not guilty when I was not guilty to begin with. I didn't really even need a lawyer. All he had to do was go in there and say, we make a plea of not guilty, Your Honor. This person came in under the legal limit, and it was a false arrest to begin with. And that's it. That's all he had to say. Instead, he put on a dog and pony, smoke and mirrors. Why? He didn't need to. All right, so then there's the gambling in Alabama. All right. McGregor didn't do it alone, and they've known all along they was doing it. And when they finally did do the job, the feds finally did do the job, then the state law enforcement took over ownership and running of the illegal gambling. You know, they were all in on that. All right, then there's that Gulf tax out there. Okay, we got an environmental hazard tax on pumps out in the Gulf that cannot turn off if an accident happens. All right, and you know good and well, you collect $16 million on a $100 billion cleanup. What you're looking at is a situation where U.S. couldn't afford a bullet, let alone a rifle to shoot it out of after that. And on top of that, I mean, you know, according to the design of this tax that he instilled, then, you know, BP wasn't supposed to pay for it because they paid their environmental hazard tax. But BP broke the law, thank God, because they figured, hey, we're going to suffer the loss of boycott unless we pay for this cleanup and compensate. Then there's the fact that he went over to Georgia and helped them instill communist and socialist laws. Why do you do that? What is an attorney general of any given state doing in another state of any given state and telling them how to run policy and stuff? Would take out the National Geographic, 1974. His picture's in there. He was in Atlanta doing his thing, imposing undue influence on surrounding states. All right, then there's the FBI was definitely sabotaged. How many people could have done it? How many people would have done it? Clay Myers tells me, no, we're not going to perform the job, and claims that there's mental problems. And I'm saying, okay, I've got anger management. All right, that's it. And that don't constitute the disavowalment of what reality is. So that's what we're looking at, why he is a suspect. All right, now the FBI, good luck getting them to do anything. You know. But if you're watching and you're in the FBI, director of the FBI, that'd be FBI director, why are you not doing the job? Huh? Why? What's so wrong with finding out the truth? I mean, everybody knows copyright thefts, patent thefts, and intellectual property thefts. That's the jurisprudence of the FBI. First I checked with Congress, then I checked with the Library of Congress, then I checked with the FBI headquarters, and everybody told me the same thing. It's the jurisprudence of the FBI. But according to the FBI, hey, y'all don't need to do it. It's not a part of your job. But yet here it is, all these years later, 29 years later, come tomorrow morning, it'll be 30 years. All right, and you still hadn't done it. And then I go to file in a federal court to sue the FBI, and y'all come up with some crazy crap like marijuana don't make money. FBI director, what has taken 30 years? I've been having to report this continuously. According to law, I am required to report this a minimum of every 5 years. And every time I report it, y'all just laugh, say, okay, whatever, we got it. And yet when I go to FOIPO, y'all don't have any records at all on me. Huh? Explain that, please. How is it that I've made so many reports and y'all don't have any records of it? The FBI has been sabotaged. But by who? And what is their motive? Now I got a suspect. Suspect says it's my uncle. But who done it? For real? Was it him? Was it somebody else? And what is his motive? Is his motive that he was programmed in the NVC? Because that's the only thing that makes any sense, other than the FBI has been sabotaged from within to accomplish this crime. So you tell me,